Hey everyone, and welcome back to English Listen and Learn. I'm Ben,
And I'm Anna.
and we're so glad you could join us for another deep dive, this time into something I think a lot of you have probably thought about before.
Yeah.
You know how some people say that just studying English might not be the best way to actually become fluent?
Oh, definitely.
That's exactly what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to kind of flip the script a little bit and really focus on living the language.
Living it, not just learning it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to make sure we really get a good grasp on this whole living English thing, we've got a pretty packed deep dive planned for you all today.
Okay.
I like it.
First, we're going to start by kind of questioning that whole traditional way of learning languages.
All right, like what's the point of those textbooks anyway?
Right. All those grammar rules, vocabulary lists, all that jazz.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we're going to figure out how to create like an English immersion environment.
Ooh, fun.
Right where you are.
Okay.
No plane ticket needed.
Oh, after that, we're going to really dig deep into like the perfect mindset for unlocking your language potential.
Yes, because it's all mental.
It really is. And then to wrap things up,
Okay.
we're going to give you some super practical tips for making English a part of your everyday life.
I'm excited.
So let's jump right in. Let's start with Chapter 1, which we've cleverly titled, Ditch the Textbooks, Embrace Real Life. Now, I got to confess, I spent years with my nose stuck in grammar books, memorizing those vocabulary lists.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
But when I really think about it, did all that cramming actually help me have, like, a natural conversation? No, really. So I'm curious, what do you think? What do we do about this?
Well, I think it's really common to get stuck in that academic mindset when it comes to learning languages.
Yeah.
We focus so much on rules and memorizing,
Yeah.
but I think the real magic happens when we switch gears and put all our energy into actually communicating.
That makes sense. So how do we go from, like, textbook English to real-world English?
It's kind of like learning to ride a bike.
Okay.
You can read all the manuals you want,
Yeah.
study every diagram,
Right.
but until you actually hop on that bike and start pedaling, you're not really going to learn, are you?
All right. You're going to fall a couple of times.
Exactly. And it's the same with English. You have to actually use it, make mistakes, and learn from them. Just jump right in.
All right. So we're hopping on that bike and ready to roll.
Let's go.
Which brings us to Chapter 2. Dive into an English ocean right where you are. Now, you might be thinking, do I need to, like, book a flight to England or something?
Right. Do I need to pack my bag?
Do I need to pack my bags and move to America?
Yeah.
And the answer is not at all.
Nope.
You can create that, like, English immersion experience anywhere you are.
It's true.
How?
Surround yourself with English, watch movies,
Oh, yeah.
listen to music,
Mm-hmm.
find some good podcasts.
Oh. Speaking of podcasts,
Mhm.
you all should definitely check out our English Listen and Learn channel on YouTube. So much great content over there.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate those small things you can do every day.
Yeah,
Even if it's just designating a corner of your room as your English zone,
love it.
where you can go to read, listen, and practice. That can make a big difference.
I think it's all about making English a part of your life, not just something you study.
Definitely.
And speaking of, like, mindset and all of that, let's move on to Chapter 3. Unlock your language potential with the right mindset. I think this is something that a lot of English learners, myself included, struggle with.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think? How much does our mindset, like our attitude toward learning, affect how quickly we progress?
I think it's honestly one of the most important factors.
Really?
I mean, think about it. How many times have you wanted to speak up in English, but then you hesitate?
Oh, all the time.
Right, because you're scared of messing up, sounding silly, or whatever.
Ugh, yeah, that fear can be so paralyzing.
Exactly. And that's why it's crucial to work on your mindset.
Okay, I'm listening.
Instead of seeing mistakes as failures, try to reframe them.
Okay,
See them as opportunities to learn and grow.
I like that.
Just like with any skill, you're going to stumble, but that's part of the process.
So how do we switch from, like, beating ourselves up over mistakes to actually celebrating them?
Well, I think the first step is to stop chasing perfection.
Easier said than done.
Right. But seriously, try to focus on your progress instead.
Okay.
Every new word you learn, every time you manage to express yourself clearly, that's a win.
That's a good point. It's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. And remember, the ultimate goal is to communicate, to connect with other people.
So well said. Okay, let's get down to brass tacks here. Chapter 4. Make English a part of your everyday rhythm. We've talked about changing our mindset, surrounding ourselves with English.
Yeah.
But what are some practical things we can actually do to fit English into our daily routine?
Well, think about the things you do every day.
Okay.
Could you do them in English? Like, what about switching your phone's language settings? Oh, that's a good one.
Or writing your grocery list in English.
Yeah.
Or even just narrating your day to yourself in English.
You know, I actually started doing something similar recently. I leave myself little notes around the house in English.
Oh, that's
Little
clever.
reminders on the fridge, post-it notes on my desk. You know, just to keep English at the forefront of my mind.
That's brilliant. And there are so many awesome tools out there that can help you do this even more. Language learning apps, YouTube channels like English Listen and Learn, might I add,
Of course.
podcasts. I mean,
Yeah.
you can literally turn your commute into an English lesson.
That's so true. And speaking of practice, let's move on to chapter 5. Find your voice fearlessly.
Yes.
What about those of us who don't have someone to practice speaking with regularly?
I gotcha. Have you ever heard of shadowing?
Oh, yeah. Isn't that where you, like, mimic a native speaker? Yes. You find a video or an audio recording of someone speaking English, and you basically try to copy everything. Their pronunciation, their intonation, even their gestures. It's like borrowing their voice for a little bit so you can get more comfortable using your own.
That's actually really clever. Does it really work, though?
Oh, absolutely. It helps you internalize the natural rhythm and flow of the language.
Interesting.
And don't worry about sounding exactly like the person you're shadowing.
Okay.
The goal is to develop your own voice, your own way of expressing yourself in English.
That's great advice. And of course, there are also those online language exchange platforms and communities
Right.
where you can find people to practice with
Exactly. It's all about finding what works best for you.
and doing it consistently.
Yes.
Which leads us to our final chapter, Chapter 6, Tune Your Ears to the World of English.
This is a good one.
This can be a real hurdle for English learners, all those different accents and how quickly people speak.
Right. It can be overwhelming.
So, what are your best tips for getting better at understanding spoken English?
Honestly. Watch movies and TV shows without subtitles. It forces you to really listen and use context clues.
You know, I've noticed that I tend to rely on subtitles a bit too much.
It's easy to do.
Like I end up reading instead of really listening.
Exactly. So try ditching the subtitles.
Okay.
Even if it's just for a few minutes at a time. And don't forget about other forms of audio.
Right.
Podcasts, audiobooks, even music. The more you listen to, the better you'll become at understanding all those different accents and speeds.
That's awesome advice.
Mm.
Well, as we wrap up our deep dive today, I'd love to challenge all of our listeners out there.
Oh, a challenge.
What's one tiny little step that you can take today to start living English more actively?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe switch your phone's language settings
Ooh, yes.
or listen to an English podcast for like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Just one small step.
it can make a huge difference.
What do you think? Any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
Remember, fluency is not a finish line you cross. It's an ongoing journey. Enjoy the process, celebrate the little wins, and most importantly, have fun with it.
I love that. Couldn't have said it better myself. And as always, be sure to check out our YouTube channel, English Listen and Learn, for even more tips and resources to help you on your English learning journey.
We'll see you there.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's learn some new vocabularies together. Flip the script. It means to change a situation completely, often in an unexpected way. Example 1. The team was losing, but they flipped the script and won in the final minutes. Example 2. She flipped the script on her bad day by focusing on the positive. All that jazz, it means, and other similar things, and so on. Example 1. I love hiking, camping, and all that jazz. Example 2. He enjoys painting, drawing, and all that jazz. Cramming. It means studying a lot in a short time, usually before a test. Example 1. I stayed up all night cramming for my math exam. Example 2. Cramming at the last minute isn't the best way to learn. Switch gears. It means to change focus or direction. Example 1. After studying for hours, I needed to switch gears and relax. Example 2. The company switched gears and started making eco-friendly products. Brass tacks. It means the most important or basic details of something. Example 1. Let's get down to brass tacks and discuss the project deadline. Example 2. We skipped the small talk and got to the brass tacks of the problem. Thanks for watching. Until next time.